And an aunt of mine still lives in the house, and she told us when my grandfather died, she saw him in that house. So I truly hope that the message I'm sharing inspires and motivates you to improve your life. Now let's get to the point. All right, welcome back to another episode of ToDaPointPodcast. So in the last episode, I was talking about the paranormal, supernatural, however you want to call it. I decided to make a part two because I have many more stories to share with you. The same idea as the last time. Found some stories online. I selected them by the title, so I have not read them yet. I'm going to read them now for the first time, react to them, and also share with you some of my personal experiences when it comes to the supernatural. I hope you're as excited as I am. All right, so let's get into the first story. This one is called The Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham, Alabama. 5 years after the Civil War, Birmingham, Alabama was founded. With its birth in 1871 came the need for tons of pig iron to fix the U.S. crumbling infrastructure. So Colonel James Withers Sloss began to build the Sloss furnaces. A year later, the company opened its doors to hundreds of employees, according to its official website. Jobs on blast furnaces were advanced but also dangerous, and many workers started falling to their deaths in the furnaces. By the early 1900s, conditions had worsened with a cruel foreman, James Wormwood, who took dangerous risks to increase production, according to Reader's Digest. During his tenure at Sloss, nearly 50 employees died on site, and many others were involved in terrible accidents. Allegedly, his workers threw him into the furnace in retaliation in 1906. Today, you can still walk the grounds of Sloss Furnace if you dare. You may even hear Slag's voice yelling, "Get back to work," and witness other paranormal experiences. Wow, yeah, this can definitely be possible. Look, again, I said it in the previous video, in a place where lots of things happen, especially negative things, the energy lingers. It can linger. And like you heard, lots of people fell to their death, and unexpectedly, of course, because you go to your job, you expect to be back home in the evening, in the night, whatever. And this happened to a lot of people. So I can really imagine that there's a lot of anger there, a lot of negativity that is probably never going to be able to be taken away, no matter what rituals you do there to, send the souls to the destination. But I doubt about the voice though, get back to work. But I can imagine you get in there and you feel this heavy energy, negative energy hanging around there. So it's not a crazy story. Creepy, very creepy. And very cruel also, yeah, that you just, take risks and let people die, just like that. All right, so the second story. I was visiting my mother after my dad died. She went shopping with her sister and left me alone in her house. I heard my dad as plain as day up in his room. He got up from his computer chair, walked over to the door and opened it. He walked down the stairs and stood on the last step for a few seconds before walking back up to his room and closing the door. I was probably 5 feet away from him in the living room. I just froze. It scared the hell out of me. Needless to say, I was a believer after that. Oh my God, listen. I have a story. Well, not exactly like this, but something similar. Listen, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from Curacao. And unfortunately, my grandparents, all of them passed away. But they still have a house there. And an aunt of mine still lives in the house. And she told us when my grandfather died, she saw him in that house. They had like 3 bedrooms, and her bedroom was across theirs. And she said she was sitting on the bed. She turned around and she saw him standing in the doorway. They kind of stared at each other for a while, and then he just disappeared, just like that. And I've always believed her. The way she was talking about it with so much passion and so much, I wouldn't say fear, but you really saw that something shocked her. So yeah, she told us that, and after that, I was terrified to get in the house, especially by myself. But I can totally imagine, because listen, those people have lived there for the majority of their life. I'm talking about 40, 50 years, maybe even more. So it's really possible that their energy still lingers there. Man, that is some creepy shit though. I would lose it if I see something like that, I think. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Yeah, man, like I said, there's more between heaven and earth. And people I think until you experience those things, you're going to be a little bit skeptical, and I understand. But at the same time, I don't believe it can be this simple, man. Like, we're the only creatures walking around, in this universe. It's almost unbelievable. So yeah. But yeah, let's go into the next one. Story number 3. It says, I get sleep paralysis occasionally. It usually feels like someone has me by the throat and is punching and is pushing me into the bed. I've never seen the crazy demon that people talk about seeing though. Mind you, I did see someone who looked exactly like myself sitting on the edge of my bed during an episode one night when I'd fallen asleep with the lights on. I couldn't really make out her face, although I could tell she was concerned almost, and she was wearing one of my favorite t-shirts that I've owned for almost 12 years. I don't really wear the t-shirt anymore because of it. Well, I think in the previous video I talked about one of my experiences when it comes to stuff like this. Literally in this room I'm sitting here right now, behind me, like I said, I was sleeping and I got up. I saw this woman sitting on my bed looking at me. I thought about this thing, by the way. I have a cat. Now I have 2 cats, but by that time I had 1 cat, and that is about 3-4 years ago. I thought first maybe that was a cat. After that has happened, it never happened again. So if it was a cat, then why didn't she do it anymore? You see? And that, to me, that's, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to believe. And another thing is, usually when I have sleep paralysis, I feel like this evil presence. But this time I was not scared. I was just only super annoyed. And I told her to leave me alone so I can sleep. So I'm really questioning and doubting, like, was it my cat or was it really what I saw? Anyway, after that, I never saw her again. I never felt her again. So that's a good thing. But that is something I will never ever forget. So yeah, crazy things, man. Crazy things. Anyway, those were the 3 stories. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, leave a comment in the comment section and tell me if you had some paranormal experiences and what those were. And also share, like, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.